All right. Let me just say that in determining what sentence to impose on Mr. Tuerk, I've taken into consideration a number of different factors. And certainly the starting point for this court are the disturbing facts that were found by the jury. The brutal attack and strangulation suffered by Kathleen McLean at the hands of Ingolf Tuerk. I can't imagine a human being facing her last moments on earth while being strangled by her husband. It's simply difficult to fathom. Moreover, while Mr. Tuerk is not charged with the improper disposal of human remains, the court notes that Ms. McLean's body was truly discarded like a bag of trash. The court acknowledges that this conduct is not to be considered as an aggravating factor as it occurred after the criminal act. However, the conduct is truly disturbing. I'm sure, let me just say to the family, that nothing that I can say can address the grief, anxiety, pain, anger that you feel on a daily basis, especially that you felt immediately after her death and disappearance, not knowing where she was or what happened to her. And then the additional grief of learning the circumstances of the recovery of her body and the anguish and grief that you'll suffer for the rest of your lives. As with any sentencing decision, I've carefully assessed the information made available to me in light of the sentencing goals of punishment, deterrence, protection of the public, and rehabilitation as reflected in the Massachusetts sentencing guidelines, which I've also reviewed. I've reviewed the Commonwealth Sentencing Memorandum, as I indicated, as well as the supporting documents. I've reviewed the Defendant's Sentencing Memorandum, the Supplementary Sentencing Memorandum, and supporting documents, including letters in support of the defendant. I've also considered the Probation Department's memorandum, as well as the very thoughtful and moving impact statements of the family members of Kathleen McLean. I've considered the facts of this case, along with the defendant's lack of a criminal record, his background and personal history, including but not limited to his many years of practice as a physician. I have considered the aggravating factors in this case, which include, but are not limited to, the fact that I do feel the defendant was in a position of trust, as well as the size and strength discrepancy between the defendant and Ms. McLean. I've also considered the mitigating factors, including the defendant's conduct and efforts to assist other detainees while he's been held pretrial. And let me just say that while there's no sentence that will satisfy all those concerned as a perfect representation of justice, this court must exercise its best judgment upon the evidence presented, the verdict returned, and all of the materials and arguments presented at this sentencing hearing as to the appropriate sentence to be imposed on Mr. Tuerk. Consequently, I fashioned a sentence that I believe will achieve these goals. Jim.
Mr. Tuerk, could you please stand?
What?
Stand up, please.
Mr. Tuerk, the jury have returned a verdict of guilty of manslaughter on docket number 282CR138. The court sentenced you not less than 12 no more than 16 years at MCI Sousa Baranowski, and you stand committed pursuant to that sentence. You receive credit for 1,823 days served awaiting disposition. The victim's fee is imposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.